Hey y'all, so I just wanted to pop on here and talk about how I recently got scammed. So this all happened literally just last week, where I was supposed to get my TV, which you see right here on the floor instead of up on my wall. I hired someone from a company where they hire out like third party handy people that will come out and like do like little projects or whatever for you around the house. So I put in all my information. I put a 65-inch TV. It's gonna go on a full tilt mount. So we agreed that he would come out on this past Saturday between the hours of 4 and 5. So leading up to Saturday, I was reaching out to him and asking, hey, like, are you still coming? Like, is Saturday still a good day? Is that still good for you? And then he will reply and say, yeah, like he replied, pretty immediately, actually. Like I reached out to him early on Friday morning and then he replied like right away. So I was like, okay, cool. Because I already had like kind of a weird feeling. I was like, ooh, I couldn't explain it, but I was just like, I feel like he's not going to show up. I don't know why I felt like that, but yeah. So fast forward to Saturday afternoon, I reached out to the guy at about 3:18. Mind you, he was supposed to be here at 4 p.m. So at 3:18, I reach out to him and I say, hey, are you still coming? And I didn't hear anything. As you can see in the photos here, he didn't reply for several hours. Finally, fast forward about a little bit after 5:30, someone finally messaged me and said, oh yeah, he's still coming. He's just running late because of traffic. Okay, you're just not reaching out. So after that, fast forward to 6 o'clock, he finally called me and said, oh yeah, like sorry for the delay. And I was like, okay, hey, like, are you outside? Like, what's going on? So then he was like, oh no, like I'm still at my previous client's house and I just started. So it's going to take me another hour before I'm done. And then it's going to be another hour before I can get to where you are. And he was like, okay, so it's going to be basically after 8 o'clock before I can finally get to you. And I was like, oh yeah, you can just cancel because you were supposed to be here at 4. So yeah, we canceled that. And then I left them a terrible review because it's not even just the fact that he was late. It's the fact that there was zero communication. So I left him a terrible review on the like website where I hired him from, and then also on his company website. So yeah.
Hi, I called you earlier. Please accept my apologies for not being able to come today. And we just saw that you gave us one review. We would really, really would be thankful if you could remove that. I don't think it is good for our reputation. At the same time, we did not deserve it. But however, we could give you 50% off. And tomorrow, first thing, you could come and install your TV mount just for $100. And could you please kindly just remove that because our management is very angry on us and being late today, it was not something on purpose. We literally got stuck here. Thank you so much. And I really, really hope you're going to remove it. And you have a great day.
So thankfully no money was ever actually exchanged. So at least I'm not out 190 bucks, but yeah, it's the principle. So in honor of me getting scammed, I'm going to read some scam story times of people who have also been scammed. Let's get into it. So I have my handy dandy MacBook computer right here. So I'm going to be looking off camera and reading the story times. Hey y'all, it's the next day, so let's go ahead and get into these story times. So the title says, my grandmother lost more than $50,000 because of a phone call scam. So this happened back in 2020, right after the shutdown. My grandma got a call that showed up on her caller ID as our local sheriff's office. The scammer said she had 2 warrants for her arrest because she missed jury duty. The scammer said that she would either be arrested or she had to immediately pay her fines over the phone. So she went to her bank and withdrew her entire life savings. She spent a total of 4 hours on the phone with the scammer, who threatened that he was watching her and warned her not to hang up or tell anyone what was happening. In total, she lost about $50,000 and had to start a GoFundMe to try to get back some of the money. A lot of elderly people have been getting targeted by a lot of scammers. They're threatened by getting, like in this case, getting arrested. And it's really, really sad. Now she doesn't have any retirement and she has to resort to GoFundMe. Like that's really, really sad. Okay, so the story is called My Uncle Took His Life After Losing His Entire Life Savings to a Catfish. So my Uncle Jerry unalived himself after he fell victim to a catfish scam. Uncle Jerry was pretty lonely ever since my aunt passed away 2 years ago from complications of a stroke. He began conversing with some woman over Facebook who said her name was Katerina from some country overseas. Everything was normal for the first few weeks, but after only a month, he was referring to her as his girlfriend and told the rest of the family how he hoped to marry her. Until Katerina's father suddenly became sick and she needed money to care for him. Without ever meeting this woman in person and only speaking a few times over the phone with crappy reception, my uncle began cash apping the woman, who he barely knew, large sums of money. It was a few hundred here or there at first, but quickly increasing to several thousands of dollars at a time as she demanded more money for his treatment, saying that her father would die unless my uncle forked over the money right then and there. Terrified of letting her down and Katerina breaking up with him, he always complied, leaving my uncle financially drained to the point that his house went into foreclosure. At that point, he finally told my parents what was going on and confessed to everything, as he needed a place to stay, so they allowed him to move in. Once his bank accounts were nearly empty, Katerina, or whatever her name was, blocked my uncle and deleted her Facebook account. After my uncle's passing, we were able to access his own Facebook and read the messages that he sent to her. He tried to move on, but the loss of his savings, his home, and his dignity was way too much for him to handle. One night, he got in his truck and drove out to a lake where he unalived himself with a weapon. The next morning, my parents came back home after being out all night, and they couldn't reach him because he wasn't answering his phone. Then a few hours later, they got a call from one of the local sheriff's deputies who informed them that a fisherman had found his body. Okay, y'all, so I'm going to read one more story and then we're going to wrap this up. Okay, so this one is called Interviewers Scammed Me for My Social Security Number. I was trying to find a front desk job off of LinkedIn and a recruiter messaged me only 10 minutes after I applied. Now, this should have been a red flag, but I'm only 19 and still very much new to working. She told me that manager Dave would be reaching out to me, which he did about an hour later, but he only asked how soon I could start. The call was very brief and he never explained anything about the job or asked me about my work experience. However, he did ask me to email him my social security number, address, and photos of my birth certificate. Against my better judgment, I complied. A few days went by and I still hadn't heard anything, so I went to check my LinkedIn, only to find the job, company, recruiter, and manager's accounts completely scrubbed from LinkedIn, confirming the fact that it was all a scam. I immediately called my best friend, who advised me to freeze my bank accounts and set up alerts with all the credit bureaus so that I could monitor my credit report. It's been a few weeks and I haven't noticed anything out of place yet. Y'all, those were some really crazy scam stories. You know, luckily in my case, I wasn't actually scammed out of any money, but it's really, really scary knowing that things like this can happen. That's why you have to be super, super vigilant and make sure that you set up your credit monitoring account, you know, set it up so where you can monitor your credit at all times. So you can see if somebody tries to take out a mortgage or something on your credit and, you know, monitor your bank accounts every single day. That'll do it for this video. I love you for watching. Bye.
Bruh.